Okay, we are live. So good morning, everyone. Thank you to everyone who's in attendance today. I'd like to call the meeting, the Land Division Meeting of January 29th, 2024 to order. I'd like to make note that what will be shown on the screen for those viewing at home is our remote meeting platform, whereby whoever is speaking will be shown predominantly with smaller images of the members and staff attending alongside the edge of the screen. The agenda for this meeting hearing has been posted online and is available at perthcounty.ca. If you want to follow along, please feel free to access it now. I will remind all committee members, staff, and others participating in the meeting to please mute your microphones when not in use to reduce feedback. As this meeting is being held remotely, the Secretary Treasurer will call each of the members' names and each member will respond if they are in favor or opposed to the motion, and the chair will announce the result of the vote. Before we proceed, we will confirm attendance of the committee by roll call. Councillor McKenzie.
Here.
Councillor McDermott.
Here.
Councillor.
Can you see me?
We cannot see you.
Okay, I have no idea how to change that. It's a new computer I'm using, so I don't know.
We can hear you though.
Okay, thank you.
Councillor Aitchison.
Here.
Councillor Trentowski.
Here.
And Councillor Duncan.
Here.
Okay, moving on. I'd like to call on the committee for nominations for the position of chair for the Land Division Committee for the year 2024. The floor is now open for nominations.
I'd appoint Councillor Matt Duncan. Did a great job.
He did. Any other nominations? Okay, so Councillor Aitchison, you make the motion to nominate Matt Duncan for the position of chair. Can I have a seconder?
I'll second.
Okay, Councillor Trentowski. Okay, we have one more motion that the Perth County Land Division Committee elects Matt Duncan as the chair for 2024. Need a first. Yeah, thank you. So McKenzie and a seconder.
I will.
Councillor Aitchison. Okay, is Councillor Trentowski, how do you vote? We have to do.
Yes.
Are you in favor? Yes, sorry.
Yes.
Councillor Duncan.
Yes.
Councillor Aitchison.
Yes.
Councillor McDermott.
Yes.
And Councillor McKenzie.
Yes.
Okay, that's carried. Now we'll move along to the nomination for the vice chair position for the Land Division Committee for 2024. Do we have any nominations for the position of vice chair?
I'd nominate Councillor Dean Chankowski.
Okay. Do we have any other nominations? Okay, Councillor Aitchison made the motion. Do we have a seconder? Councillor Duncan? Okay, Councillor Trentowski, are you in favor of this vote?
Yes, I'll let my name stand.
Thank you. Councillor Duncan, how do you vote?
Yes.
Councillor Aitchison?
Yes.
Councillor McDermott?
Yes.
And Councillor McKenzie?
Yes.
Okay, that's carried. One more motion and then we will be finished the business part of the meeting. That the Perth County Land Division Committee elects Dean Trentowski as the vice chair for 2024.
I'll move that.
Okay. Can I have a seconder? Okay. Councillor Duncan and Councillor Trentowski, how do you vote?
Yes.
Councillor Aitchison?
Yes.
Councillor Duncan?
Yes.
Councillor McDermott?
Yes.
And Councillor McKenzie?
Yes.
Okay, that is carried. Great. At this time, I will hand the reins over to Chair Duncan once again, and we will move to agenda item 2.0.
Thank you very much. Welcome, everyone. We're at
Disclosure of pecuniary interest.
disclosure of pecuniary interest. Please declare now or any time throughout the meeting. Okay, I don't see or hear from anyone, so I'll need a motion that the agenda be approved. Moved by Counselor Trentowski, seconded by Counselor McKenzie.
I had to unmute myself. Counselor Aitchison, how do you vote?
Yes.
Counselor Trentowski,
Yes.
Counselor McKenzie,
Yes.
Counselor McDermott,
Yes,
and Counselor Duncan.
Yes.
Carried.
And item 5.1, got minutes. Can I get a motion to put the minutes on the floor, please?
I'll move that.
Moved by Counselor Aitchison, seconded by Counselor McKenzie.
Counselor
Question.
Trentowski, how do you vote?
Yes.
Counselor Aitchison,
Yes.
Counselor McKenzie,
Yes.
Counselor McDermott. You're muted.
Uh-oh.
I'm unsure. Counselor McDermott, you're muted right now. Oh, there you go.
yes,
Oh, there you are. Great, thank you. And Chair Duncan.
Yes.
Okay, that's carried.
Okay, we've got item 6.1, application for consent to sever B43/23 for 5728 line 34. John, you're going to present that for us?
Thank you, Chair Duncan. Yes, I'll just share my screen real quick. And can I just get a thumbs up that everybody can see that?
Yep.
Perfect. Awesome. So this consent application is for a surplus farm dwelling severance. It's located at the Red Star, which is on the north side of line 34, just to the east of the Mitchell settlement area. The owner is Johannes Van Newlen, with the potential purchaser being Martinus Van Newlen. The agent is MTE, and Doug Riome will be acting as the agent. For municipal purposes, the location is 5728 line 34. The provincial policy statement, as well as the Perth County official plan, does allow for surplus farm dwelling severances. The lands identified with the subject lands are designated as agriculture. So we have to look into the agricultural policies of the Perth County official plan to determine surplus farm dwelling policy as well as feasibility. The first policy, and I guess the main policy that I'd like to point out first and foremost would be it's under 5.6.3.1 subsection D. Essentially, this policy says that surplus farm dwelling severances are permitted as long as the new residential lot is limited to a minimum size, and that existing buildings and landscape features and accessory buildings are deemed accessory to the residential use and are in close proximity to the dwelling. The issue that the Perth County Planning Department has with the subject application at this time is that although there is a residential use associated with the second gravel driveway, planning staff do not believe that it is in close proximity to the dwelling, and that the lot currently as submitted is not minimum size. So currently, Perth County planning staff have identified a potential modification to the surplus farm dwelling severance, as you can see on the screen right now. The effect of the modification on the west side is simply to straighten out the lot lines. The fact that they're gaining a bit of land is secondary to the purpose of that modification on the west side. However, on the east side, there is substantial land there that can be remained into the cultivated land. So planning staff are recommending about a 0.7 acre reduction in that area. So just to go over what was proposed and what was submitted versus planning staff modification, this slide here showcases that. So the proposed as applied for severed lot would have 1.49 hectares. I know it says 1.44, but the 1.49 essentially just deals with the increase in size on the western lot there. And then the proposed retained farm lot would have an area of about 55.3 hectares. And then, so essentially we loop these two together with the western lot expansion, as both the applicant and planning staff are in agreements with that modification on the west side. So the modified severed lot would have a lot area of approximately 1.2 hectares and would be approximately 3 acres. This would reduce the lot by approximately 0.7 acres. As similar with all surplus farm dwelling severances, there will be a required rezoning that will need to be done for the severed lots as well as the retained lands. The severed lot was essentially to allow for that residential use, whereas the retained lands need to be rezoned to prohibit any sort of residential dwellings on the farmland. Staff went and did a site visit on the subject property. So the image on the left there is the surplus farm dwelling. It's of 10 years of age and it's habitable. And then the image on the right is the accessory dwelling, or sorry, not the accessory dwelling, the accessory garage at that point. Some images that were also taken. So this image was taken at the Yellow Star and it was looking south, just over the septic bed. And this image is looking north along the Yellow Star there as well. It's about a 20-meter difference between the house and the lot line. Or sorry, the two lot lines, my apologies there. This image was taken of the driveway looking south. This image was taken looking south as well, showcasing the amount of land that would be excluded if the Land Division Committee went with the staff modified recommendation. This image just showcases similar to that, however, it's looking to the west based on the Yellow Star. And this one as well, this one's looking to the north at the Yellow Star, essentially to showcase the amount of land that would be removed based on the staff modification. And this image is of the existing driveway that will remain. And just to give it a little bit more context, this image was taken based on 2015 aerials. Just showcases that the land that planning staff are recommending be modified on the east side used to be used for cultivation. As such, staff are recommending it go back to that. And I can take any questions.
Thank you, John. Michelle, do we have anyone in opposition to the application?
No.
Do we have anyone willing to speak in favor of the application?
We have Doug Ryu, who I will bring in now.
Okay.
There we go. Hi, Doug.
Good day, how are you?
We're well. How are you?
Good. Hello, counselors. On behalf of my client, we're requesting the secondary gravel driveway along the east to be included. My client has a large mobile home that cannot get down the existing driveway, the asphalt driveway, due to the trees and the overhang. This is why we're asking for more land than the county has suggested that we cut back into. Right now, our client is out of town, but that is the only access he has to get his mobile home into that third bay that showed the large garage door. And that's where we stand, and that's why we're requesting this severance, this size.
Okay, thank you, Doug. Anyone else? Michelle?
No, that's everyone.
All right, committee members? Councilor McDermott?
Just wondering if they do change the boundary further over towards like getting rid of that other driveway. On the map there, how close are you getting to the well that's there now that they're using?
Through you, Chair, I'm just gonna re-share just so that everybody can look. So this hasn't been surveyed. As a condition of severance, they'll have to edit this line with Doug being the one to do that essentially. But I'm not exactly sure how far that is. But it would be identified in the survey sketch.
Okay. Can you stop your screen share, John, just so we can see everybody again? Okay. Any other committee members with questions? Comments? Councillor McKenzie?
Yeah, for all intents and purposes, it is a fairly large severance. It's basically an estate lot is what you got. And looking at the sketch, John, that you had up there previously, there's a parcel at the back that comes. I'm thinking of where the garage or storage for the RV is. If you came down and then in behind the house and out, it doesn't look like that would be as much land as what we're trying to do at the front with the laneway. I don't know whether you've looked at that or not, John. Just a question.
Yeah, through you, Chair Duncan. Maybe just I'm a more visual person, so can you see my cursor?
Yep. Yeah, that's the area that I was talking about. If we came down there and then across at the back of the house.
For a laneway?
No, if we took that area and put it with the retained portion of the farm, if it's an equal trade to the land around by the laneway coming in from the road.
Oh, I understand. So
it doesn't.
Instead of
it doesn't look like it would be.
It probably wouldn't be.
No.
I don't know the numbers on that. We did identify that there was essentially a row of trees here that can be included as it's closer to the dwelling. And as the policy is written, it has to be, residential uses, are okay. However, they need to be in close proximity to that dwelling. And it's our opinion that the second laneway is not.
Okay.
Okay. Jim? Councillor Aitchison?
So how far in the driveway can they drive with that Winnebago? He mentioned trees were an issue. So I'm looking at that as the sketch come back up, thinking if you could get quite a ways in the laneway, just cut across the front of that garage over to that spot for the garage instead of going all the way up from the road. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, so through you, Chair Duncan. So are you essentially kind of near the well? Is that where you're?
Well, the well's kind of up there, but so what I would do is I would cut across just before the well, and that would give them the access, and they're going to have the gravel from the driveway anyway. So they could go across there, and you wouldn't add that much to the severance, but then you'd eliminate all the problems with the other laneway. Just a thought.
So through you, Chair, so essentially just moving the laneway, a certain amount of distance to the west.
Well, if they could go in the existing laneway to like, I'm not sure how tight that is. To me, well, I guess that bridge looks kind of small, doesn't it? Or the water crossing or whatever that is. I was thinking they'd go in the existing driveway as far as they could and then cut across to the garage.
Understood.
Okay, do we have any other questions or comments? Councillor Trentowski?
Yeah, through you, Mr. Chair. Looking at that layout, proposed layout by staff, the proximity of the revised boundary to the well. I think Councillor McDermott alluded to asked what the distance was, and under environmental farm plan criteria, seems to me that there's a recommended minimum distance from any well to agricultural operations. And the closer you encroach on an active well with agricultural operations presents a higher risk of groundwater contamination. Now, realizing this is a fairly new well, probably in the last 10 years, the risk would be, going to say minimal, but over time that probability of risk increases. So I would like to see a larger separation distance between the wellhead and the limits of the agricultural activity from a water quality or water safety, groundwater safety standpoint.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Trentowski. So I guess what I'm hearing, there seems to be a few questions here. Would the committee feel comfortable with a deferral to let planning staff and the applicant, being as he's not around currently, have some more conversation and bring this back? Councillor Trentowski?
Through you, Chair, I think it would be appropriate to go back and work out some of these details and bring it back to the committee at a later date.
Okay. How does the rest of the committee feel about that?
That might be a good idea. Maybe we can come up with some sort of solution that makes everybody happy.
Okay.
It doesn't appear the applicant wants to lose that driveway, so.
Okay. So, Councillor Trentowski, would you be willing to move a motion for deferral?
Yes, Mr. Chair, I would.
Okay, do I have a seconder for that motion? Councillor McDermott? Any more questions or comments to that? Planner Bice, do you have I see your
Yeah.
hands up there. Did you want to speak
Yes.
before we voted?
Thank you, Chair. Through you, Chair Duncan. Just maybe if there's a deferral on the table, if we could get laid out the reasons for the deferral and what we would like to see addressed at the next committee meeting. Is if it's just simply, setback distance from the well, then we can go back and look at that. Just lay that out on the table.
Okay, I think it's setback distance from the well as well as the possibility that, maybe the driveway could be moved to a different location. And I think what the committee's looking for is the landowner and planning department to kind of work on a solution to them still be able to access their large vehicle without taking in, an excessive amount of land up.
Yep, for sure.
Committee agree with me on that?
Yeah, I would concur. The separation distance from the edge of the retained agricultural parcel to the wellhead, and then working out details between county staff and the landowner regarding the alignment of the second driveway. What can be done there to to accommodate the landowner, but also reduce the amount of acreage that's being included in the severance.
Okay. You're okay with that, John? You understand what the committee's looking for?
Yeah, through you, Chair Duncan. Yep, I understand. Just one last comment that I'd point out is there's no specific setback distances in the zoning bylaw for the wells. The Nitrate Act does state that you can't be spraying within 15 meters of the well. So that's just some further food for thought.
Councillor Trentowski?
I would suggest to staff that they consult source water protection related documents on that. Like John mentioned, the 15 meters, but just there might be some other criteria contained within other pieces of legislation outside the bylaws that would govern that situation, or at least give guidance to that situation. I'm thinking Conservation Authority, either the Conservation Authority or the Source Water Protection Authority would be places to find that information.
I just have one quick question, John, before we vote here. The modification the planning staff made to the drawing, had the applicant seen that previous to this meeting?
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
So Chair Duncan, can I read the motion to make sure that we have it correct?
Absolutely.
And that we're voting on the proper one. So that the Perth County Land Division Committee receives the application for consent to sever B 4323-5728 line 34 report, and that Perth County Land Division Committee defer the application for consent to sever B 4323 submitted by Martinez Van Newland, affecting lands described as part lots 8 and 9, concession 1, Logan Ward, West Perth. So that is the motion, and I have the notes here for John to work with the applicant on what was suggested.
Okay, thank you. I guess we'll have you call the vote.
Okay, so it was moved by Councillor Trentowski and seconded by Councillor McDermott. Councillor Aitchison, how do you vote?
Yes.
Councillor McDermott?
Yes.
Councillor McKenzie?
Yes.
Councillor Trentowski?
Yes.
And Chair Duncan?
Yes.
That's carried.
Good. Thank you, everyone. All right, moving along. We have consent file status report 7.1. Michelle will give a brief update.
Thank you. So since our last report and as of January 19th, we've had 15 new consent applications that are currently in process and 2 applications that were received prior to that that are also in process. 3 applications have been approved through the delegated authority process, and 7 applications have received the final approval for which a certificate of official was sent for registration. Currently, there are 8 applications that are on hold until the applicant and or the solicitor can prepare additional materials or studies, or I think there's a couple that are working with some concerns from UTRCA as well that has put them on hold. I think that's it. Did anybody have any questions about the report?
No questions?
Great.
Okay, good. So I think we have a recommendation that the committee received the consent file status report, moved by Councillor McDermott, seconded by Councillor Aitchison.
Great. Councillor Trentowski, how do you vote?
Yes.
Councillor Aitchison?
Yes.
Councillor McKenzie?
Yes.
Councillor McDermott?
Yes.
And Chair Duncan?
Yes.
That's carried.
Okay. We have no correspondence, no appeals, no other business, unless any of the committee members have anything. Okay, no closed session. Next meeting date is February 26, 2024. So I'm now looking for a motion to adjourn the Land Division Committee at 10:01 a.m. Moved by Councillor McDermott, seconded by Councillor McKenzie.
Okay, Councillor Trentowski, how do you vote?
Yes.
Councillor Aitchison?
Yes.
Councillor McDermott?
Yes.
Councillor McKenzie?
Yes.
and Chair Duncan.
Yes,
That's carried.
there we go, Jim. We got you plenty of time.